The first clan war league for Townhall 18 is around the corner, and to set you and your clan up for success, I once again have some bases for you to copy. So you're perfectly set up not only for clan war league but also for ranked mode as well as normal clan wars. With that, hello and welcome to yet another video. My name is Gum, and here let's take a look at the first base, which is built by Vibes, and in the clan castle we stay the same as on Townhall 17, and we will just put the regular clan castle from Townhall 17 in there with 2 ice golems, 1 furnace, and fill that up with archers. That's going to be the clan castle for basically every single CC. That's going to be the clan castle for basically every single base. Of course, you can take out the archers and maybe put a headhunter in there if you like to have a headhunter in there. But hey, it's just a great all-rounder CC still also on Townhall 18. If you just put in 2 ice golems, 1 furnace, and then fill it up with either goblins or some archers or a headhunter with a goblin, headhunter with an archer, and so on and so on. But hey, it's all about the bases, and there we have this wonderful base from Vibes, this wonderful diamond base, and you can already see there are basically 2 main approaches for a Royal Champion charge on this base, because you have to deal with the top side. Because how the spitters are placed and how the sweepers are placed, the only way of going into this base or entering this base is going in from like any of the spitter compartments or just regularly the bottom side of the base. And there the big problem is, just take a look at how much damage is on the back end. Of course, we have the multi-gate tower as well as the revenge tower in the middle of the base, which are not too easy to go into. And then on the back end, you still have all of these super wizard towers, you have the poison towers, scatter shots, and you have this very, very nasty bomb hive in combination with a few more of those high hit points defenses and also high damage defenses with the tornado trap as well as the giga bomb. So just an incredibly nasty backhand, and you just have to deal with that some way or another. So you can't really do a roll. Of course, you could do a roll champion charge, for example, from this wizard tower as well as the air defense, and just take out this small section of the base. But just take a look at how much then is still left of the base to get through with either dragons. You're of course with dragons you're going to do a longer Royal Champion charge, but you know what I mean. If you're going in with like Meteor Smash or you're going in with Root Biters, then there's still so much on the back end. So you somehow have to deal with a little bit of the damage on the back end. So therefore, most of the times the attacker would go in from either this bomb tower or, for example, from the mortar, and just go in from either the right hand side or the left hand side with a Royal Champion charge. And you can see every single trap is stacked against that. You have all of these spring traps, all of these giant bombs, and the Royal Champion just doesn't really have a good time there, doesn't get the value she needs to get. And then there's still so much on the back end. To be honest, on this base you could basically use every single one of the guardians. As far as I know, Vibes just likes the Smasher Guardian because it's also the first one he leveled. But if you have the long shot level, then just use the long shot instead. Both of them are okay here. To be honest, the problem with the Smasher is just that whenever he goes down, he drops a rage spell, but the rage spell just doesn't really benefit on this base, because most of the time so he's just going to go down here in this dead zone where the rage spell is basically going to do absolutely nothing. However, if the attacker would go in from the top side, then the smash would of course go down and rage up the revenge tower or the multi-gear tower, and that would do some really, really good harm. But hey, just in general, whatever you have leveled, if you want to use the long shot, use the long shot. If you want to use the smasher, use the smasher. Both of them work. If you, when it comes to the seasonal defense, just use the bomb hive. Just ignore the other two. Only level the bomb hive. Bomb hive is so incredibly strong, so there is no reason not to use the bomb hive. So just use that one, level it, max it as fast as possible, because probably it's going to be the best, at least one of the best, if not the best defenses on Townhall 18, at least for the duration of the seasonal defenses until the next season starts. But hey, until then, you need to max it out as quickly as possible. And then this would of course be a great base you can use for Legends League or just in general. It's a great all-rounder base, which is really going to stop some of attackers for sure. And here we have the next base, which is a base from Camille, and once again we have the next diamond base, and I just really love this Townhall setup with the long shot. It is just so incredibly nasty, and just reaching this Townhall in general is so incredibly hard, so this for sure is a base that is going to force some 1-stars out of the attacker. Of course, you could be arguing that this base potentially has a lot of flame flinger value, for example on 12 o'clock as well as on 3 o'clock as well as on 9 o'clock, but hey, I have heard multiple base builders already on Townhall 18, and every single one of them just says that, hey, it's just really not worth defending flame flingers because it's gotten so hard on Townhall 18, because of course you still have some few expos, but you don't really have the wizard towers anymore to tank for those expos, so they're really easy to snipe out with rocket loons most of the times. And if that's not possible, you still have a totem you could use for the flame flinger to tank. But in general, flame flingers are just not worth using anymore. Of course, they can get some value, but it's not something you have to lay a focus on if you're building a base. But this base in general is just also so nasty looking for me. This revenge tower in the core, also really hard to reach. Root riders will just walk around that. You have some few defenses, I mean some few storage buildings standing in front of that, 2 elixir storage as well as the clan castle, which are going to soak up some damage, and that revenge tower will just always be at the maximum level, so at the 40% level if you're encountering it, because of just because of how far it is inside of the base. Of course, you could be arguing that the bomb pipe doesn't really do too much if you go in from the bottom side. That's for sure. Also, if you just put some rocket loons on there, you could take that out relatively easily. So if you know that your enemy is going to use rocket loons to snipe at a few defenses, you could like move those Tesla a little bit just so you can cover that bomb hive. And also you could be putting some red air bombs in front of that maybe to protect your bomb hive if you're just scared of someone sniping that out. But if someone doesn't go in from the bottom side but encounters the bomb hive in the back end, then you can see that it perfectly aligns from those 2 ricochet cannons to really get every single troop that goes after the monolith, for example, or just goes after the section in general. You also have the tornado trap just to tank or, well, lure those troops away from the bomb hive if they just go near it. And in this base as well, we will have 2 ice golems, 1 furnace, as well as 7 archers, which is just in general a great all-rounder to see. And with that, you have a great all-rounder base you can use in the ranked mode, you can use it in clan wars, you can use it in tournaments, or whatsoever, doesn't really matter. And I best believe it's going to get a lot of success for you or your clan mates if you're going to share it with them. So if you want a base that really profits from the long shot and can really force out some 1-stars, then this for sure is a base you could be looking for. And now let's get away from the diamond bases for a bit and move over to an anti-2-star base, which is actually built by me. And here we have this anti-2-star base where you basically have 1 damage section just on the bottom side, which people would want to take out if they go in with, for example, root biters or just a RC walk in general. And most of the times people will just go in with an RC walk from the mortar and try to take out the revenge tower. And you can see so many traps are stacked up against that. You have all of these spring traps that will perfectly trigger for the royal champion. You have the exact same thing on the left hand side as well. And then on both sides, you just have all of these seeking air mines stacked up against the root rider entry. And of course, you could be saying, hey, there is not really that much damage against air in the core of the base. But still, you have these fire spitters that are covering the town hall. You also have like the revenge tower and the monolith also covering the town hall by a bit. And of course, you have the long shot, which is going to do a lot of harm, because due to these storages, all of the troops would just want to go around the town hall. And then the long shot, if you're going to attack with root fighters, if you're going to attack this base with root fighters, the long shot is really going to do a lot of work. So on this base, I can only recommend you using the long shot and not the smasher. Also on the last base from Camille, But most of the times you can just switch around a little bit. But if you have an isolated townhall in the middle of the base, the long shot is just a great option. If the townhall is a little bit more far outside, you can also use the smasher if you have that leveled. But in this case, that would just be a complete waste and also make it for the attacker to actually make it easier to get the 2 stars. On this base, I have gotten several 1-star defenses already, which is of course exactly what you want in the Clan War League. If you're, or as well, of course, in Legends League or in Ranked mode, because that's really going to boost you forward. On this base, once again, we're going to use 2 Ice Golems, 1 Furnace, and a few Headhunters. And that's just in general a great CC. You could also be using 3 Ice Golems if you like that more. But with the Furnace and 2 Ice Golems, you can just really not do too much wrong. Before we continue, I just quickly want to mention one thing. If you're looking for any custom-made Townhalls 18 bases, or just bases in general that are only for you, or any of our base packs that, for example, are limited to 10 people, so any of these base packs you have right here, for example with the Bomb Hive, or for Legends League, or for example from our world champions at Tribe Gaming, you can order those on our website rhbasebuilding.com. And for the Black Friday week, we have a 10% discount if you use the code BLACK. So if you're looking to get your own personalized base, then that is for sure something you can look into. Of course, you can also order the base on our Discord server, but on the website it's just in general incredibly easy. You can just take a look at which type of base you want, which of our builders you would like. So if that's something you're interested in, then go onto our website rhbasebuilding.com. Link of course is also in the description. Let's continue with the next diamond base, and this time from Daniel RJ, and we once again have the smasher. And on this base, the smasher is just in general the better option. You could also use the long shot, but that long shot is just not going to do as much as the smasher. Smasher of course going to do significantly more damage. Also in combination with like the Super Wizard Towers, in combination with the Inferno Towers, you can just really not underestimate the amount of damage it's going to do. And also depending on when the smasher is going to go down, you will have a raged up Super Wizard Tower, and the raged up Super Wizard Tower is really going to shred some troops. And also on this base, once again, you have insanely nasty pathing in the middle of the base, where you have this Revenge Tower and both those multi-Inferno Towers standing. You have 1 spell tower here, you have 1 spell tower there. So it just, even though it's a symmetrical layout, the placing from the buildings is just not completely symmetrical, so you can force the attacker more towards one side. And that's also why you see a one-sided bait on this base. You have all of the traps basically on this right hand side and nothing on the top side, because due to how these spell towers are placed, or how these buildings are also placed, most people are going to go in from the bottom side, which is also just generally going to happen because, well, most people are right-handed and they're going in from like the bottom side instead of like the top side where your left hand would be dominant. But also you can see the multi-gear tower as well as the ricochet cannon are on the bottom side right here. So just in general, it forces the attacker so much towards the bottom entry with a RC charge, or just with any entry in general, and you're going to eat up every single trap and hopefully get the defense you and your team are looking for. Now let's move on to the first box base of the video, which is this box base built by Neffe. And from the regular viewers of this channel, you might know this base already, because we shared this after the Last Chance qualifier. This is a base used in the Last Chance qualifier by Mills Team MG, where they qualified for the World Championship. So it is basically a Townhall 17 base, which now got rebuilt to Townhall 18, but is hopefully still going to work like a charm. Because how this base is set up, you can just really easily use it on Townhall 18 as well. Because just take a look at how good this Revenge Tower as well as the multi-gear tower core works out. Just in general, you can, if you're going in with an RC walk, you can basically only take out one of the two, and you will have one of the two still on the back end, and it's just in general still not easy to get into the core of the base. You also have the long shot protecting basically everything, and the long shot just does so much damage if you have it combined with a few other defenses. And just in general, this base is incredibly compact when it comes to damage. Here on the top side, you have the Bomb Hive, which is perfectly covering like an RC charge into any of these expo compartments, as well as if you're going in for the top side, I mean here into the 10 o'clock section. And then you have this damage section here with the scatter shot as well as the ricochet cannon, which is going to be protected by the long shot. Same on the top side as well. And you have this incredibly nasty core, which you just really cannot underestimate. That revenge tower is going to do so much damage. And then on the bottom side you have the monolith, which is really hard to get into. Of course, most of the people are going to try to go in with an RC charge here from the bottom side and then funnel it with an invisibility spell. But then you can see there are a few spring traps right there, perfectly placed against that specific RC charge. And on the right hand side we would have the tornado trap, which is just going to delay everything for a little bit. And then the RC is hopefully not going to get the value you want to get. And with that, also this base is going to work like a charm. I bet on that. Even though it's a base build for Townhall 17, on Townhall 18 it is still going to be incredibly hard to triple, hopefully, so you can get a lot of defenses from that as well. And once again on this base we're going to use the same clan castle. On the last base I forgot to say it, but hey, just in general, use two ice golems, one furnace and a few archers, and you're good to go on any of these bases, as I already said. And here we have a base from Leo, and this is a wonderful diamond base. Once again with the long shot on the outside, but in this base you could also be using the smasher if you like that more. But in general, just take a look at the smasher. It's just not really going to cover every single one of those defenses. So most of the times it's basically just going to do absolutely nothing except for protecting the town hall. And the long shot is just going to protect the core as well with the revenge tower, going to snipe every single troop you place on the outside. And basically also on this base you have a few RC entries here on the right side, as well as on the left hand side, where you would want to take out the fire spitter compartment and maybe a bit more, and then go into the town hall, which is of course going to be baited with like a few traps, which is going to be enough to maybe get that fox down, as well as just force out some more invisibility spells than the attacker would like to use. And then on the bottom, on the top side, you have everything stacked up so incredibly much around this bomb hive. And just take a look at this bomb hive, how well this is covering the base. It is covering these inferno tower compartments, so once any of these troops are going to go into these inferno towers, they are going to really get a lot of harm done by this bomb hive. And on the left hand side as well as on the right hand side, you also have some really nice anti-air compartments with the super wizard tower, as well as just it looks easy to go in with a World Champion charge. And of course you could be getting a lot of value from a relatively cheap World Champion charge here on the right and left hand side. But just take a look at, once you get that out, you basically have no pathing. And in order for root riders to work, as well as for dragons to work, as well as of course meteor golems, you need some pathing. And it is incredibly hard to get pathing on this base, because you basically have so many rows of defenses. You basically need to take out these monolith compartments, or monolith inferno tower compartments, or multi-gear tower compartments with a World Champion charge if you want to get any good pathing, which is just really easier said than done, because the pathing into those compartments is so incredibly hard. And also, once you're there, you still have the bomb hive protecting everything. So this base, if you're often getting attacked with RC charges, it is just a really solid option, because RC charges on this base are really not a fun thing. And here I have another box base with you for you guys, with the long shot. And in this base you could also be using the smasher once again, because the smasher is just going to protect the rage tower, and once the revenge tower, and once that smasher goes down, it is going to rage up that revenge tower. And a rage up a revenge tower, if that is on 40% or like on the maximum damage, then it's going to really do some work. And just take a look at the central bomb hive as well. It is going to protect the monolith, it's going to protect the town hall as well as the revenge tower. And just in general, this placement from the bomb hive is absolutely insane. If you have it leveled to the maximum level, for example, also from the range, it is going to really just range for the whole base if you have it in the core like this. So just in general, if you have the bomb hive completely maxed out, this is a base that is going to incredibly benefit from it. Because just try taking out that bomb hive in the middle of the base. It is basically impossible. It is so hard to reach that bomb hive without going through it, so it's going to really do so much damage before you're able to reach it. It is basically protecting every single one of the main compartments, and with that, it is going to be so hard for the attacker to get 3 stars onto this base. Of course, getting 3 stars in Townhall 18 is not an easy task to do, especially not if you compare it to Townhall 17. In my opinion, it is way harder. Of course, there are a few tactics which are incredibly solid, but those are the exact tactics that are also going to be defended on this base. So you see, you have a few RC charge entries here on the bottom side as well as here on the left hand side, always from the multi-archer tower, and it's just completely stacked up with all of the spring traps as well as with the giant bombs tornado trap in the mix as well. And then here on the bottom side, we have the Tesla farm as well as a few spring traps if someone wants to go into the monolith compartment with a world champion chart. That's also just really not an easy task to do. And also, you really can't underestimate how hard it is to take out this Townhall. So if you go into the Townhall, you have such a hard backend, and if you don't go into the Townhall, then getting the Townhall down, especially because it's like not a defense anymore, so a Royal Champion is not going to take it out, Root Waters are not going to take it out, and Dragons are just going to fly around because of these dead zones. With these dead spaces and all of the storages are just going to soak up so much damage and stall those Dragons for such a long time, so the Revenge Tower as well as the Guardian on top of the Townhall can do a lot of work, hoping so you can hopefully also get a few 1-star defenses with this base. All of the links are of course in the description if you want to copy them for yourself. I hope you liked the video. If you enjoy these type of base videos, then let me know down in the comments, and I would really appreciate it if you could leave a like on this video or subscribe to our channel to not miss any more free bases. With that, I would say see you guys soon with the next video. Until then, see ya and bye bye.